A question that might come up during your artistic journey is, how do I become a Laurel? So I want to dive into that, but first, hello, my name is Lynn Fairchild, and welcome to my channel. So first, what is a Laurel? According to Kapora, a Laurel must have attained the standard of excellence in skill and or knowledge equal to that of his or her prospective peers in some area of the arts and sciences. The candidate must have applied this skill and or knowledge for the instruction of members and service to the kingdom to an extent above and beyond that normally expected of members of the society. To become a Laurel, you must have talent and skill in your field of study. One of the things that you need to be a Laurel is talent and skill. You must be able to show your craftsmanship, your performance, your artistry. You must have mastery of an existing skill or break new ground in a particular skill set. But also, aside from having the craftsmanship and mastery of the existing skill, also the quality of your work and the volume of your work is also going to be considered. For example, the quality and the volume. If you do a whole lot of work, but the quality isn't there, then you might not be elevated to becoming a Laurel. Just the same, if the quality of your work is there, but you've only done one masterpiece, then you don't have the volume of work. So you need to work on both the quality and the volume. Also, to be a Laurel, you must have knowledge and in-depth research of your skill. And with that, that means you must be able to not only know about it, but think about being able to talk about that particular skill for minutes, if not hours, teaching someone about your thing, and then just being able to geek out because you know all of the in-depth knowledge about that particular thing. Whether or not they may have asked about it, they may have asked a simple question, and an hour or two later, you are still talking about your thing because it excites you, but you are a wealth of knowledge. You are the expert in your field. Knowledge and research. Research and demonstrated application of the results of that research. You need to have an understanding of historic tools and techniques that were used for your particular skill set. But then you also need to share and or teach this knowledge that you have. You want to become an expert in your field. Not only do you want to be an expert in your field within your region or your kingdom, but maybe on a society level. Take your skill set and go beyond the SCA. How can you contribute to the world at large? Is there someone who does that thing better than you do? Go talk to them, go learn from them. Help yourself become the expert in your particular field worldwide, not just from your region. Some knowledge is a wide range of period forms, including but not limited to literature, dancing, music, heraldry, and chess, and a Laurel should have some familiarity with combat as practiced in the society. That is specific to the Kingdom of Atlantia, so definitely check out your kingdom's website on being a Laurel, because some websites might provide more information. Like, for example, I know the Kingdom of Locac also has information about becoming a Laurel. So check out your kingdom's website on information, because your particular kingdom may or may not have some information on what they are looking for. Also, to become a Laurel is you must have peer-like qualities. And this term, peer-like qualities, is a little difficult to just simply pin down to one or two things, but here are some of those qualities. Peer-like qualities is a broad term. It includes honor and chivalry. It includes respect for the crown of your kingdom. As a Laurel, you should support and uphold the laws of the kingdom and Kapora. So if you are a candidate hoping to become a Laurel, you should definitely support and uphold the laws of the kingdom and Kapora. Enrich your kingdom by sharing your knowledge and skills with others. Be courteous and have noble behavior suitable to a peer of your realm. Be authentic and dress equipment and behavior as is within your power. and practiced hospitality. That is another peer-like quality where you just want to be hospitable to people. A smile can go a long way. So make sure you smile, you're friendly, and just easy to talk to, easy to approach, because if and when you become a peer, people will come up to you and ask questions. Maybe they want to pick your brain on your particular art. Maybe they're having writer's block and they need your assistance with where do they go from here with their research? Where do they go from here with their art? So definitely practice hospitality. One thing that definitely helps with being on your path to possibly becoming a Laurel is see and be seen. So yes, it would be great if you could physically be at all of the events, so everyone in your region, in your kingdom, people out of your kingdom, if everyone can know who you are, if you are a household name. But that sometimes isn't always possible. Either events conflict with each other and they're on the same weekend. Maybe you can't financially afford to go to events. Maybe you physically cannot go to events. There are other options, and this is where you can start to use your creativity. See and be seen. This can be done in so many ways. You can teach. And at every event that you go to, if you can teach a class on your art, then the more people who have your class handouts, make sure you have a handout to give out to students if that is something you are capable of doing for your particular skill set. But the more people who have information on the class that you taught, the more your name can get spread around, and your research, your information that you have done on your project and how to teach others how to do your craft, the more you can teach, the better. Participate in Tournament of Arts and craftsperson's greens, arts and sciences competitions, arts and sciences displays. Anytime you can show off the thing that you have made and then be able to just talk about it. One example, my husband, he's a blacksmith. And so sometimes, depending on the event, there really isn't an arts and sciences area for him. And so what he will do is he will take his latest creation and walk around and just show it off to different people, show it off to different friends, let them wield, like if one time he made a hammer. And so different people were getting to handle this hammer. And one friend was so excited by the sight of this hammer that they went out, bought a watermelon, brought it back to site, and then had fun taking this hammer and more or less using as a sledgehammer to obliterate the watermelon, just to show how impactful the hammer was, how well put together it was. So these are just some examples of what you can do to participate in the arts and sciences area, or at least walk around with your craft, show it off. Don't hesitate to be happy to talk about your project and what you learned, where you want to go from here. One thing I would recommend is having an online presence to display your craft and knowledge. Have a blog, have a website, have a YouTube channel, create a social media page that is specifically devoted to your craft. That way, if say you are not friends with some of the Laurels from your kingdom, they can be able to publicly go to your blog, go to your YouTube website, whatever it is, be able to go there and be able to see pictures of the projects you have done. Maybe learn about the things that you have learned. If there was something that you tested out and found out the hard way, maybe this was the wrong way to do something and now you've learned it because you were trying to figure out how that craft worked and you've done it. And so just create an online presence if you can. Or if you aren't able to create an online presence, maybe talk with friends, see if someone else is able to help you create that blog or create that social media page. Just something to put your information out there because, again, the first bullet point is teaching. You want to be able to show off what you know, but also be able to educate others who might also be on that same path, but maybe they're not as far along on the path as you, and they can learn from especially like learn from your mistakes or learn from the things that you already know that they may not know yet, and you can help them along their path. How long does a typical path take to become a Laurel? Well, each path is different for each individual. Some people might just speed through everything, and who knows, they might actually get it in 2 years. That would be, I would think, unusual, but it's possible. It might take 6 or 7 years. It might take 14 years, even longer. Each path is different, and all I can say is don't lose hope. And I would advise you do not have to be an apprentice to a Laurel. There are some who have been Laureled without ever being an apprentice. You could be a student to someone. But if you are not a student or an apprentice to someone, I would at least recommend talking with a Laurel and someone who understands the skill that you're doing, who understands your craft, and maybe asking them if they would be an advocate for you. Someone to speak up on your behalf if and when your name may or may not, like if it is ever mentioned during a meeting, have someone be your advocate. And lastly, recommendations. If you think there is someone who you think is deserving of being a Laurel and you're wondering why they're not a Laurel, then put in a recommendation for it. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch more of my videos, please follow the links on the side of the page. Please select thumbs up that you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And please click subscribe and ring that bell to be updated when new videos come out.